Go ahead.
Good morning. Welcome to today's court enforcement hearing. I'm Myrna Roche. I'm going to be your special magistrate today. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, which means it's similar to court, but the rules are less formal, and everybody who's here to speak on behalf of a case will have the opportunity to do so. At this time, for those who will be providing testimony this morning, please stand up, raise your right hand for the taking of the oath. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? With that, I'll ask the town to please call the first case.
All right, Madam Magistrate, first on the agenda is going to be number 3, and our beach patrol base cases to be heard is going to be Jim Reinhardt. Presenting this case is going to be Nello Sonoya.
Here? No, right there.
Okay, that box right there.
Officer Sonoya, can you please state your full name and place of employment for the record?
My name is Nello I. Cernoia, and I've been with a base officer for 7 years.
Town of Fort Myers Beach.
Town of Fort Myers Beach.
And
Yes.
in that capacity as a base officer, is it your responsibility to enforce the city's parking regulations?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with case number 709-70620?
Yes, I am.
Please tell the special magistrate how you are familiar.
Okay. On November 28th, as I was patrolling about 11:44 in the afternoon, I was patrolling one of our accesses called Palm Street, and I saw a motorcycle was parked in front of the bathrooms in an undesignated parking space. At that time, I proceeded to go ahead and issue him a violation for not a legal space, and that was that. He came in Monday after this was issued. He came in here and wanted to contest it, and I told him, what you can do is either pay or go to court. And he said, well, I'm going to go to court over this. And I said, feel free to. Why would you contest this? Well, because I did you guys a favor. I didn't tie up a spot. I parked here, so therefore you guys can make revenue off another spot. I said, but you just can't park wherever you want. And he said, well, we'll let the judge decide that. And that was that. That was a couple days after the 28th, and here we are today.
Can I, very quickly for the record, when you say legal parking spaces, has the city designated specific areas where parking is allowed, and if you're not parked in one of those designated spots under the city's regulations, you're deemed to be illegally parked?
Correct. And there's a sign on either end of the island that said, as the only place you can park on Fort Myers Beach is in a designated parking space. You just can't create your own space. A lot of people say, well, it didn't say no parking. We can't put a sign up in every place that you're not allowed to park. But you can only park in, it says a location that is not designated as a legal parking space and is not marked with signs or lines. So it's got to be designated a spot to park there.
And the photographs in the packet show where the motorcycle was parked in a undesignated spot, or not legally designated parking spot.
Right, and even marked off with a big red cone, orange cone right there.
I'm sorry. Did you provide notice to Mr. Reinhardt of today's hearing?
Yes, we did. We talked on the telephone. I saw him in person here, and we emailed him the packet, knowing that the court would be today.
Okay. And based upon the request by Mr. Reinhardt to request a hearing, how much is the fine that is subject to, as well as what any administrative fees?
The town is looking for a fine of $50 and an administration fee of $175.
Any further?
Alrighty, we do not have Mr. Reinhardt present today in the audience. And as such, I find that based on the evidence presented, Violation as stated in the citation did exist. The fine has not been paid, and as such, I'm imposing the one-time fine of $50 and granting the city's request in the amount of $175 as incurred by the city in bringing this matter before the magistrate.
Thank you. All payable within 30 days?
Payment within 30 days.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Magistrate, at this time, if you don't mind, since we have a property owner in the audience present, then we'll move to his case, which is number 14 on the agenda. This is going to be Elaine Hernandez. This is work without permit. Code officer presenting this is Officer Bill Stout. And if I may remind the court that he needs to be sworn in.
Right. So we'll hear from him, and then I'll swear him in before
Okay.
he speaks.
I just wanted to make sure you guys
Yes.
remember that.
Officer Stout, can you please state your name and position with the town of Fort Myers Beach for the record?
My name is Bill Stout. I'm a code compliance officer for the town of Fort Myers Beach.
In that capacity, are you responsible for enforcing the city code and the city's land development code?
That's correct.
Are you familiar with the property located at 6660 Estero Boulevard in number 404?
Yes, I am.
How are you so familiar?
We received a complaint about a remodel going on at the condo unit from a neighbor, and I investigated it and found out that there was not any permits for any type of remodeling present.
When you visited the site, what did you observe?
I did not visit the site. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to go inside a condo unit. We have to be invited by the property owner. And in this case, I opened up a communication with the owner. We issued a notice violation based on the complaint. And I got a response from the owner, and we have text messages back and forth between the owner. And he confirmed that, yes, he had done a remodel, and he did not have a permit.
Okay. Did you inform the property owner what were the necessary steps to bring the property into compliance?
Yes, I've communicated with him that he needed to get a permit from a contractor. It has to be a commercial contractor because it is a commercial building.
And state what steps have been taken to the best of your knowledge to bring the property into compliance?
The property owner has been working with contractor to provide the proper documentations as late as this morning. But unfortunately for him, the contractor has not supplied to the town the proper documents to begin the permit process.
The photographs of the notice of violation and the notice of hearing that are in the packet that's been provided to the special magistrate, were those provided by you or by the town to the property owner?
Yes, they were.
So this matter's been properly noticed, and obviously we're here. So at this point in time, what is the city requesting in the way of an order from the special magistrate?
At this time, we're going to ask for an order of violation, 7 days to submit the permit application, 21 days for issuance of the permit, and this is not including the town's review time, or $250 per day until the permit is issued, with a $75 admin fee to be paid within 10 days.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do you have a response in regards to the allegations from the city?
No, basically what Bill.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on with the contractor, because it sounds like you haven't been able to even get your permit application running.
It's a little bit hard to find a contractor. I signed with this contractor 3 months ago. Mostly we're working on it. They went, measured the apartment, doing some plans or whatever was necessary. I've been on their case every day, but
Haven't provided you with any plans
So
or?
they sent me some, I don't know, some information yesterday that I provided with Bill, but apparently they basically put in some information, they didn't submit anything else.
Are you confident that you're gonna be able to get this contractor to go ahead and get you what you need for the permit application process?
Yes, I mean, that's the only person that I finally able to get to to take the job, because the kitchen, I removed the kitchen that is already done, so nobody wanted to step in, so.
Have you verified this is a licensed contractor so that you don't have?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
they're architects. I have the receipt here of my payment and everything else, and they, I was told on the front desk now that I can actually, I didn't know this when I called first time. I can actually fill out the paperwork and submit it, even though if it's not complete, but at least I got the permit going. I
At
didn't
least you
know
have
that.
the application running.
Right.
So the city's requesting, so for your purpose is going to that, if you submit this, I don't know if the city will take it without anything else, but it is possible.
Under the contractor name, but I can fill the papers at least.
And then provide the documentation afterwards to support it.
I guess get them to, yeah.
I don't know the nuances of it, but what the city's requesting is for you to apply for that permit within 7 days and get it issued within 21 days. Let me ask something. The 21 days that you're requesting for the issuance of the permit, obviously there are some things that are gonna be outside of his control, but there are things obviously that if permitting says you need to supplement, that he has to supplement.
What I mean by that is that we are literally at a 21-day turnaround, even with our reviews. Like, you submit a permit within 21 days, typically, you've got your permit. That's how good our reviewers are. But what I say in here is you take away our review time. Everything is on you. So if we have a reset, because what happens is we do a review, it's a rejected review for whatever reason.
And then they sit on it.
And then they sit on it. So that's why I put that time in there to get them moving. But I deduct our time, staff time. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I follow, because if you have 21 days for review, you're giving him 7 days to put in the paperwork, and then 21 days for the review process, which is on the city.
Month.
No,
So,
So my inclination, that's what I'm thinking I'm heading, is gonna be 7 days to go ahead and put the application in, 30 days for the permit to be issued. That way, you guys have the fudge factor of review process if you're at 21 days, and he has a fudge factor for a couple of days just in case he has to run and get more documents.
yeah, but that's fine. I mean, whatever you want to rule, but what I was trying to say is that I deduct our review time. So if it takes 4 days, that's not counted in the 21 days. I deduct our time.
But it's hard for me to make an order because you
Yeah,
don't know
that's
how
fine.
it's gonna.
Okay, I get it.
That's where I was
So-
confused about it.
Okay, I gotcha.
That's why I was confused about it. Okay, so you basically heard what I'm inclined to go ahead and order is for you to submit the application within 7 days, and then get the permit in hand within 30 days. And that's based on the city's representation that there are about 21 days on the review process. So that gives you even a little bit of a fudge factor, but not a whole lot. So you definitely want to get going with that.
As long as they accept the papers filled by me under the contractor's name, I wouldn't done that 3 months ago.
I couldn't tell you. I think he has to sign it and notarize it.
No,
So-
he can't be an owner builder in this.
Exactly. No, he
Yeah.
understands that. He's
Okay.
just saying under the
The
contractor.
using the contractor, but I can actually fill the application. That's what I was told.
My suggestion to you is once you get the order, and let's try to expedite his order so that he can go ahead and get that to the contractor to put a little pressure on him.
Right.
Make sure that the contractor knows, if I don't get it on this date, we're getting fined. Let's go ahead and expedite that order, okay? All right. So I hereby find that based on the evidence presented, the violations as stated in the notice of violation did exist and continue to exist. I'm hereby ordering the property owner to apply for the permits within 7 days, and obtain the permit within 30 days from the date of the order. Otherwise, face a fine of $200 a day until the violations are corrected. And that's going to apply that 200 a day is going to apply whether if you violate the 7-day portion or the 30-day portion. So we want to make sure that you have that in within that 7-day period. The sooner the better. Okay, I'm also granting the city's request in the amount of $75 in regards to fees and costs incurred by the city in bringing this matter before the magistrate. That amount shall be payable within 10 days.
We get that in writing today so I can send
That's,
it to them?
and that's what I was telling the city, that I want to make sure that they expedite that order so that you can go ahead and take care of what you need to take care of, and you have a document that can put pressure on your contractor to get it done. Okay? Hopefully that'll help you.
Fine. We'll see.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
Next case.
Okay, number 5, it's going to be on the agenda, number 5. Sandra Baker, code officer, base officer presenting this case is Heather Shabert.
Officer Shabert, can you please state your full name for the record, your position with the town of Fort Myers Beach?
Heather Shabert, and I'm a officer for base or
And
street
in-
enforcement.
In that capacity, you're responsible for enforcing the city's parking regulations?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the citation, 70809-745? That's the subject of today's hearing.
Yes.
Can you please tell the special magistrate how you're familiar?
I was going and I was driving down Crescent Street at around 7:44 on September 12th. Noticed that there was a car illegally parked on the side of Crescent Street. I issued a
Do you have any contact with the property owner?
I did not.
What was the nature of the citation that you issued? For what was the violation?
It was an illegal parking spot. It was parked on the side of the street.
I'm trying to, do you have the file in front of you?
I do.
Photograph. I'm just trying to understand, since I'm assuming the special magistrate may have the same question. There
I
does
know what your
appear-
question is, and I think I've resolved it, but go ahead and ask it.
Okay, so there does appear to be a parking line in one of the photographs. Is that for a parking space immediately adjacent to the left of the vehicle? In other words, where the car was parked, that's not a designated parking space?
It is not. It's an illegal parking space. There is no parking spots on Crescent Street.
Okay. And so, I'm sorry, so the white line is just the edge of the street?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and did the owner of the vehicle request today's hearing?
They did, and we did send them an email, and I believe we talked to them by phone as well. I have that here.
They're not here today?
They are not here today.
Mr. Magistrate, based upon the evidence testimony presented, the city would, town at this time would be requesting the imposition of a $50 fine plus administrative fee of $175 in this case.
All right, we do not have anybody here in the audience in regards to this case. I hereby find that the violation as stated in the citation did exist, and as such, I'm imposing the one-time fine of $50 and granting the city's request in the amount of $175 as incurred by the town in bringing this matter before the
Within 30 days.
payable within 30 days.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Magistrate, next on the agenda is going to be number 6, Michael Jaffe. Base officer presenting this case is Roxanne Tucci.
Tucci, good morning.
Good morning.
Name and position for the record.
Okay, my name is Roxanne Tucci. I am a Beach and Street Enforcement Officer. I have authority at that big parking tickets.
Are you familiar with the citation number 7266041 that we're here for today?
I am.
Please tell the special magistrate how you are so familiar with that citation.
Yes, on December 2nd, I was working on the 12 to 10 shift. Went downtown on Old St. Carlos. It was approximately 7:42 in the evening. I noticed a white GMC van bearing license plate IG81GP. It was parked in the wrong direction. Also, I didn't write them for that. We was parked in a loading zone, which was a
Yeah,
yellow
I saw
curb.
that. I was looking
Yes.
at that. He should have gotten a double ticket.
So, but I wrote them for the wrong direction, and it stated, you on the, see on the roadways, on the signs, too, that you're supposed to park in the direction of the traffic flow. And also, whenever he got his driver's license in the Florida Department of Motor Vehicle Handbook, it also indicates you need to park on the right side of the roadway unless it's a one-way street, in the direction of the traffic movement. So I took pictures, as you can see. It's pretty clear he's parked on the right side of Old San Carlos. And like I said, the yellow curb I did not write him for. I issued that ticket for $50. So the town's requesting $50 and a $175 fee for the court costs.
For purposes of the record, Old San Carlos is not a one-way street, correct?
Correct.
Any communication with the,
No, I had no communication with them. I just placed a ticket on the windshield.
they asked for the hearing?
Oh,
and
yes,
notice
yes.
was sent?
They requested a hearing. He's given information, when the hearing date was and the time, and obviously he's not here today.
Further.
Alrighty. The officer said there's nobody here on behalf of the respondent this morning. I hereby find that based on the evidence presented, the violation as stated in the notice in the citation did exist, and as such I'm imposing the one-time fine of $50 and granting the city's request in the amount of $175 as incurred by the city and bringing this matter before the magistrate.
Thank you.
Table in 30 days.
But within 30 days.
Okay, Madam Magistrate, we're going to move into, on the agenda, to the code cases to be heard. For a brief moment, I'd like to commend staff for their working these cases, bringing in our violators into compliance. As you have witnessed yourself, we have reduced the amount of magistrate hearings from every month to every 3 or 4 months, maybe. These cases that we're getting ready to hear have been, they were opened 5, 6, 7, some even the beginning of this year. So that's just a testament to not only how our staff has really been working these cases, but how the property owners are just don't care. So with that said, I'd like to bring up our first case under the code enforcement, which is case number, agenda number 8, which is Fazekas Kirk. The environmental officer specialist presenting this case is Chad Schutz.
For the record, Special Magistrate, this is, the property owner is Kurt Fazekas, trust, Mr. Fazekas as the trustee for the property. So, that said, Mr. Schutz, can you state your full name for the record?
Sure, Chad Daniel Schutz.
And are you employed by the town of Fort Myers Beach?
Yes, I am.
In what capacity?
Environmental staff.
And in that capacity, are you responsible for enforcing the city's environmental regulations before the special magistrate? Yes. Are you familiar with the property and the circumstances that gave rise to case number CE 210291, which we're here for today?
I am.
Please tell the special magistrate how you are so familiar.
So, in doing turtle lighting compliance inspections at night during the summer, sea turtle nesting season, staff observed exterior and interior lights emanating from 4148 Estero Boulevard, which included Christmas string lights and interior lights visible from the beach. The warning was issued on June 10th. I spoke with the property owner who called and explained that his wife had the Christmas lights out. Just asked him to take it down and to pull curtains over the interior lights or some other window treatment. On a second inspection at the end of June, staff observed the string lights, interior lights again, and wrote a final warning notice to the property. And then again in mid-July, July 19th, staff received a complaint from the marine turtle permit holder regarding lights emanating from 4148 Estero Boulevard. On inspection, staff observed interior lights emanating from the property visible from the beach and wrote a citation for $250.
And the photographs that are in the packet reflecting the property in question represent what was you observed at the time the photographs were taken.
Sir.
And they illustrate the violation of the turtle lighting requirements that are otherwise the property is in non-compliance with. A copy of those regulations have been provided in the packet as well as the notice of hearing and the notice of violation for this particular violation in this particular hearing.
Yes.
And it's verified that the property owner signed for receipt of the notice and the violation.
Yeah, Miss Rachel Fazekas on December 2nd.
And again, several attempts were attempted and were successful in communicating with the property owner and the nature of the violation, yet they still continue to violate the regulations.
Yes, each warning had a few sentences on how to come into compliance to the citation.
Special Magistrate, nothing further at this point in time. The town would be requesting for an order of violation, the imposition of the $250 fine that was set forth on the face of the citation that's part of today's hearing, as well as the $75 administrative fee to be paid within 10 days.
I hereby find, based on the evidence presented, which includes copies of pictures that were taken on the nights in question, and I hereby find that those lights do violate the sea turtle conservation ordinances, and as such, I am imposing the $250 fine and the $75 fees and costs incurred by the town in getting this matter before the magistrate, which shall be payable within 10 days.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Magistrate, next is number 10 on the agenda, Benson Enterprises Incorporated. This is going to be Code Officer Bill Stout presenting the case, and this is a work without permit. What? Oh, I'm sorry, building maintenance.
Officer Stout,
Sorry.
you've been previously sworn in, correct?
That is correct.
And you are employed by the town of Fort Myers Beach as a code enforcement officer, correct?
That is correct.
And in that capacity, you are responsible for enforcing the city's land development regulations and the code.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the circumstances that gave rise to case number CE 210022 that we are here for today?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell the Special Magistrate how you are so familiar?
I've been in this, working for the town of Fort Myers Beach. I'm very aware that this building in Times Square. I also know some of the tenants in the building. I received a complaint from the tenant about the building's general condition. I had already observed this, but now we have a complaint. So I arranged to go there with our building inspector, Jack Mistravik, and my fellow code and compliance officer at the time, Eli Lee. We went down there and we did an observation of the building, and at the conclusion of that visit, we decided that there were several concerns about the building maintenance.
What were those concerns?
Those concerns are the general, there's a walkway, a deck, side rear of the building that is in very poor shape. In fact, if you look at the photographs, you'll see orange cones marking areas. Boards are loose. Steps are very unstable. Also, there are some what are known as closet or kiosks that they use for storage for the sunglasses business that's in the lot next to it. Those are in very deteriorated shape. The roof on the one is coming apart.
And the condition of those areas that are reflected in the photographs that are part of the file, are they, do they constitute violations of the Section 6.1 of the town's Land Development Code, which adopts the International Property Maintenance Code, and particular Section 3.301.2?
Yes, those are violations of that code.
And what is that requirement?
It's just a matter of him getting with a contractor. It is a commercial building, so it has to be a licensed contractor, and have the work completed to bring it back up to code. It may or may not be required.
And Special Magistrate, the notice of violation in the packet describes the requirement that the owner of premise shall maintain the structure and exterior property in compliance with the requirements of the code, and maintain them in a safe condition. And the photographs accurately reflect the condition of the property at the time that you took the photographs?
Yes, I took pictures. This was back in January of 2021. I recently, in your packet, you should see that I took pictures just recently on November 3rd, I believe are the dates on those pictures.
And they show the same condition?
Absolutely no improvement in the condition of the building.
Any communications with the property owner?
I have not spoke to Brad Benson since, I will say, early summer, May, June timeframe.
When you did speak to Mr. Benson, the property owner, what was his, or what did he say, if anything, regarding bringing the property into compliance?
Mr. Brad Benson said that, well, he'd get to it when he can. He was going to Idaho, so on and so forth. I have tried to contact him many times. I get either his voicemails full, or I leave him a voicemail. So, doesn't seem to be too concerned.
And the notice of violation and notice of hearing that are in the packet were, in fact, both posted and provided to the property owner?
Yes, they were.
Further, Special Magistrate, at this point in time, the town would be asking for an order of violation with the request of 7 days to the property owner to submit the permit application, and similar to the other one, then 30 days, I think it was, that you ordered to pull the permit or face a fine of $250 a day from the respective dates, plus the $75 administrative fee to be paid within 10 days.
Was there any violation, anything that you observed in the?
Yes.
I'm looking at some electrical that looks a little questionable.
We have another case.
We have a sister case to that.
Okay, so so I don't have to address it. This
So
one's
this
just
one
maintenance.
is just
Okay.
the decking and the wood panel doors that are shown on the, we'll get to the electrical on the next case.
Got it. Alrighty, I hereby find, based on the evidence presented, the violation stated in the notice of violation that exists and continue to exist. I'm hereby ordering the property owner to apply for any necessary permits. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do 30 days for compliance. He needs to get permits, even if permits are necessary, because I don't want to put 7 days for a permit, there might not be needed. So I'm gonna do 30 days for compliance, which will include any permits that may be necessary in order to complete to correct the violation. I'm also granting the city's request in the amount of $75 for fees and costs incurred by bringing this matter before the magistrate. That shall be payable within 10 days. Failure of the property owner to come into compliance within 30 days, which shall include, again, any permits that may be necessary, will result in $250 a day until the violations are corrected.
Okay, next on the agenda is matter number 10, Benson Enterprises Incorporated is mentioned. This is the work without permit for the electrical and plumbing. Code Officer Bill Stout presenting the case, and this is case number CE 210023.
Same guy. Officer Stout, again, for the record, name, position, and the responsibility as it relates to enforcement of the code.
My name is Bill Stout. I've been a town employee with Town of Fort Myers Beach as a code compliance officer. Been in this position for 2.5 years.
And in that capacity, you are responsible for enforcing the city's regulations and the city code, as well as the city's land development regulations?
Yes.
Are you familiar with case CE 210023, the property at 1010 Estero Boulevard that is the subject of today's hearing?
Yes, I am.
Can you please inform the special magistrate how you are so familiar with the property in this case?
We also received a complaint from the tenants and about the condition of the electrical, and also concerns about plumbing issues with the building due to some odors that are coming from underneath the building. So we investigated that again with my building inspector, Jack McStravick, and we also had the Town of Fort Myers Beach inspector, Chris Cox, with us as well. On observation, Mr. McStravick had me take photos of what his concerns were with the electrical outlets. And also, there's a concern about some of the conduit that's used for the electric that is PVC, and we're not sure about the UV rating of that, so that could have deteriorated to where it's an unsafe conduit. I therefore issued a violation for maintenance of electrical and plumbing.
Did you take any photographs of the property at the time that you first visited it?
Yes.
Are they in the packet?
Yes, they are.
And they accurately and correctly reflect the condition of the property at the time you took the photographs?
Yes, they do.
Any contact with the property owner at the time?
I'm not having, at the time, yes, I met with Brad, ordered his property, I pointed the things out to him, he said, okay, I'll get to it. That was in the time frame when we were preparing for a hearing in March, and since then I've spoken to him in spring of May or June, and he still had not addressed these particular.
And so at this time, the property is in the same condition as when you first visited and issued the notice of violation?
Yes.
There's, again, notice of violation and notice of hearing in the packet that's been provided to the special magistrate. Those provided to the property owner and posted on the property?
Yes, they are.
This time, special magistrate, we would ask that you impose an order, again, giving the property owner 30 days to comply or face a fine of $250 a day for each day thereafter, plus a $75 administrative fee to be paid within 10 days. We certainly do, not only with this case, but to the prior case that you heard, we are asking for the maximum fine because of the nature of the violations and frankly, the failure of the property owner to address them in a timely fashion, being the seriousness of the violations.
My concern here is that this is a commercial property open to the public, and that is always a huge concern.
We would, we do share that concern. We would point out that the area where wiring appears to be in the worst condition is pretty high up. Nonetheless, it still does need to be addressed, and it is, we certainly are considerate of those issues of the public, not to minimize the nature of the violation, but the area where these conduits are also on the back side of the building, not generally open to the general public. Otherwise, we potentially would consider, an order being even a shorter period of time or facing closure until the violations are corrected.
My inclination right now is to do the 30 days all-inclusive again, just to go ahead and get them to start moving, and I'm going to go ahead and do it with Lee for the town to come back for additional remedies should this so that it is necessary for the benefit of the public.
Thank you.
All right, so I hereby find, let me see. I hereby find that the violations as stated in the notice of violation did exist and continue to exist. I'm hereby ordering the property owner to come into compliance within 30 days, including any permits that may be necessary that they need to obtain to go ahead and bring the property up to compliance. within 30 days, otherwise face a fine of $250 a day until the violations are corrected. I'm also granting the town's request in the amount of $75 as incurred by the town in bringing this matter before the magistrate. I'm going to go ahead and in the order include that the town shall have leave to bring the matter back to the magistrate should the issues not be resolved and it be deemed that this is a health and safety issue in regards to the tenants and the public for further remedy. Leave it open like that. That way, the options are open.
10 days to pay the
10 days to make payment. Yes.
Thank
Okay, that said, next on the agenda, you'll see number 11 has been continued. They are working towards compliance with permit. They've submitted a permit application. Next, at number 12, Pullman Herbert Charles Jr., trustee for the Herbert Charles Pullman Jr. Trust. This is going to be a work without permit. Once our code officer Eli Lee is going to be presenting the case. The case number is CE 210206.
Fresh one. Officer Lee, name for the record.
Eli Lee.
Are you employed by the town of Fort Myers Beach?
Yes.
In what capacity?
I am the town coastal region inspector, but previously code enforcement officer.
And in that capacity, and as it relates to this particular case, was it your responsibility to enforce the city's land development regulations and city code?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the property located at 540 Randy Lane that gave rise to today's hearing in case CE 210206?
Randy Lane is at one.
Oh, I'm sorry, 167 Hibiscus Drive, the property owner's address is that, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Please tell the special magistrate how you are familiar with the property.
Doing my normal daily inspections, not inspections, but daily drive-bys of the island, going to Hibiscus, going on at the property. I didn't pay too much attention to came back down, going to got there, so I stopped by and said, hey, a complaint about some work going on, kind of just checking out what's going on. Contractor just said that he's not conducting any work on the property. He's just placing his vehicles on here to conduct the work at another property. He knew the property owner that they was very close, but he wasn't doing any work. He was just parking his vehicles. It looked like they was doing some work in the backyard, but obviously I couldn't go back without the property. I told the complainant that could he give me permission to the property so I can go in the backyard and see what's going on in the neighborhood back from her. So the next day, I did another drive-by and I seen a window was replaced at the house, and you can see there's a before picture of what Google Maps shows how the window looked compared to what a picture I took the case. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. There's no permit in our system to show the work, what's going on. Originally, as a backstory, there was a cold case on this property. Originally, it was back in March, but to come into compliance, part of the violation was wrong, so I reopened up a new case that reflects what we're here today. I met with the maintenance person for the property back in May. He told me that the property owner is getting permits as we speak. That he would have the permit pretty soon. I gave him my card to keep me in contact or keep me updated, but I haven't heard from him.
Application, not even an application?
Special magistrate, there is some email correspondence in the file from a local, an attorney in the area purporting to represent the property owner, indicating that they wanted a continuance because they were in the process of putting together all the materials for a permit application. That was back in November. Staff at that time advised the applicants they submitted the application. We had granted a continuance, but apparently staff has not heard from them since. So the photographs, if you take a look, actually show
It's very obvious.
to the physical envelope of the building, which obviously is a concern. I appreciate the fact that it appears they're trying to upgrade to
Impact.
impact-resistant windows, but, you know, they require a very specific permitting process because of the modifications that need to be made to the physical structure. And so,
They would have
At this
needed a
point in
permit
time-
anyways, even if it was a swap, so.
at this point in time, consistent with the prior request for relief, we'd asked an order be entered granting the property owner 30 days to come into compliance with that time to submit and obtain the required permits that may be needed. If not, again, because of the nature of the violation and the uncertainty as to how the building envelope may have been affected by this work, the maximum fine of $250 a day for a first-time violation. In fact, the property owner has not, although communicated, not necessarily taken action in response to those communications. Last but not least, Officer Lee, the notice of violation and the notice hearing that are in the packet that's been provided to the Special Magistrate, were those sent and posted by you on the property or
Yes,
by the town?
Yes.
Anything further?
Okay, nobody here on behalf of the property owner. I hereby find that based on the evidence presented, the violations as stated in the notice of violation exist and continue to exist. I'm hereby ordering the property owner to come into compliance within 30 days. No, whatever they need to do. In 30 days, otherwise face a fine of $250 a day until the violations are corrected. I'm also granting the town's request in the amount of $75 as incurred in, $75 as incurred by the town in bringing this matter before the magistrate.
Within the 10 days?
Oh, I'm sorry, payable within 10 days.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Magistrate, on the agenda, number 13, they are working towards compliance and have submitted an application for their permit. The same, we had number 14 previously. Number 15, 16,
So 13 is
13's
continued.
continued?
13's continued.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is
15 is continued, as shown on your agenda. 16 has been continued. 17 is continued. Matter 18 is continued. Matter 19 is continued. And of course, this means that these people, or these property owners, have all submitted permit applications. Because what we instruct them is if you get the permit application in prior to the meeting today, we will continue it. And so that's what's happening here. 20 and 21 has also been continued. That brings us to the end of the,
Wait, 20 and 21 were continued also?
yes,
Okay, so that concludes our agenda.
that concludes.
Alrighty.
Guacamole.
Concludes our agenda, well, that's it.
Again, I'd like to commend staff for the excellent work that they are doing.
Absolutely.
And working these cases. There's a lot of communication that goes on, instruction. We basically are working above and beyond to help these people and educate them and bring them into compliance. And I have to say, staff, admin, our officers, everybody, they're doing a great job. So,
Fantastic, thank you all. Yeah, it's definitely been a change, especially when we started to where we're at now. I think the message is out that it's about compliance, people about compliance.
And that, you know,
It's definitely not a money-making speed. They have
No,
to
and
pay me,
it-
they have to pay you, they have to pay you, they have to pay a lot of people.
if they work with us, we'll work with them.
Absolutely.
That's really the message we're
Hey,
trying to
with
send.
that, happy holidays to you all. Thank you for the job you guys do, and
Same to
I
you.
will see you guys next year.
yeah, thank
Happy
you. Happy
2022.
holidays.
Happy holidays.